Hi, Eric.
Hi, Eric.
Hello.
Eric, how you wanna deal with the questions? Should we? Or
I'm not sure. We will have time for questions in the end.
okay. And I see you do three people are presenting.
Yeah.
So how do you pronounce your name? Mosen?
Yeah, that's correct, Mosen.
Mosen. Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. I don't think
Nice to meet you.
we met before, right?
No. I am AI scientist at Leeds University, at NHS Leeds Trust, helping with the upload of data to the Bigpicture from the Leeds.
I see. So you work with
Darren.
With Darren. I see.
Yes, Darren and Claire. I think you all has problem joining this meeting. Do we have any other link to send him? Eric, did you register for this meeting as well? Maybe he's not registered. I don't know.
I think he should have received the same mail that I got with the presenter link.
Yeah, exactly. Like Joel, but
Yeah.
he's there.
Yeah,
he's there.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Great.
Wow, I got stressed out for a moment there.
Don't get stressed. It's Friday.
Yeah, it's true. Hi, Rick, by the way.
Hi.
So, Erik Måsen, have you checked that the screencast is working?
I mean, I can see it.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, but I cannot control it. So,
like maybe I should. I don't know if I can change. No, you are already set as presenter, so you should be able to.
okay, sure. Maybe I need to request. So if I say,
yeah, you need to take control.
Okay, now if I change the slides, okay, but I see also notes on the side, but this is just for me because
I don't see it.
Okay, that's good. So I just want to check the animations we have here just quickly.
Sure.
So does it work? Or?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. Okay, it works on me for me. Okay, let me check. These are the animation for. So I just check this one as well. Okay. Does it work as well? This one is different one.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah, looks great.
Okay. Okay. So just go back to where we are, and then so if I want to lose my control, to pass it to someone else, should I
think we
do
can only
anything?
take control.
Okay. Okay, now someone took
Yeah,
the
I took
control.
control.
Okay.
I think
Okay.
Joel starts. So
Yeah, I do. So
let's
where do you see
make
the?
you. I will make you a presenter.
Yeah,
There we go.
yeah. So where do I
So
see
now
my notes?
you can take control up in the menu bar somewhere. It should say take control.
Yeah, there it is. Yeah, take control.
And if you click on that one, you will see the presenter view
Ah,
where
perfect.
you have the notes.
Ah, great. That's great.
And if you want to change your background, you can do it as well. I mean,
Okay.
this is not the one that you have in Zoom meetings, but
Okay.
sure.
So
I mean,
that
your
was
preference.
it was a nice way to say, okay, I think you need to change your background.
No, I don't mean that. I mean,
Yeah,
I mean, if
I'll do that. Yeah.
you used
Yeah.
to have those blue screen.
Yeah. You're probably right. I'll have
But
to change. So background.
I have this problem in Zoom, but it doesn't give me a lot of options in Zoom to change the background. But
Yes,
in
and so
in Teams, you have a lot of options, I guess.
settings,
Too many.
meeting information. So where do I set my background in?
It is on the video, on the camera settings.
Okay.
You can set your background.
Yeah.
You have to go to more, and then you can even upload backgrounds and.
Okay. Video effects. Out there, I can use the blurs out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, just quickly for the, I can just very quickly introduce you, and then it's up to you. So for the questions, I think people can. I mean, people are allowed to unmute and stuff. And I guess you can work on questions in the chat meanwhile somebody else is presenting. Do you want to take breaks in between to take questions when you switch presenters, or how do you want to go about this?
That's a good question, Rick. I think to have a better flow in the webinar, I think it's best if we take the questions afterwards.
Okay.
How do
cool.
you feel about that, Mosa and Eric?
Yeah, agree.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do that.
Great. So how many registered do we have for the webinar, Rick?
It was 60 something.
Okay.
But typically not everybody joins.
Yeah. It's Friday.
Yeah.
Afternoon.
People are slowly entering. I'm just checking with people who entered. Are you able to unmute and turn on your cameras? Or is it somehow switched off? Ah, you are.
Hello.
Yes, we can.
Ah, great. Okay, perfect. Hey, I remembered I changed it because automatically it's set to no cameras, no audio, but I think it's better to actually see who else are there.
So I realized just the other week, very late, that I hadn't included any SlideTap stuff in my end-to-end user story demonstration. So we're trying to plug that hole very quickly now with stuff from this presentation and hopefully also a webcast so that can be included on Tuesday.
Oh, amazing. Yeah,
I have
Yes.
some.
Great.
Yeah, I have some stuff that I prepared for you, Johan, so you can. I can send
Love to hear it.
afterwards. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 3 o'clock, but we will wait a couple of minutes for people to enter the meeting.
I will hijack a few seconds more then. For Tuesday, I also don't have any DesiFX stuff, and maybe we should. And that didn't occur to me until just now.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. Have you reached out to Katrina? Or maybe you should reach out to Katrina
She's
or
here.
Donican.
Oh, sorry, I just heard my name. Sorry for being late.
There is a midterm review in rehearsal on Tuesday, and I'm supposed to have an end-to-end user journey demonstration there for half an hour. And I presently don't have slides or screencasts from DesiFX in there, and maybe we should. Maybe that's important for an end-to-end user journey. We can coordinate that, not in this webinar.
Yeah, no worries. I can get that squared away pretty quick, just a demo study. Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, let's wait 1 more minute and then propose we can get started. So we're about 30, probably more people will enter in the next coming minutes. Welcome everyone on this Friday afternoon webinar on Bigpicture. Today we will focus on SlideTap, which is a tool that's developed within the Bigpicture project that is there to help mainly clinical contributors with extracting their data from their local systems and making it ready for submission to the Bigpicture repository. This webinar will be given by Erik Gabrielsson from Sectra, Joel Pettersson from Region Östergötland. I pronounced it right, yeah. And Mohsen Farsi from Leeds. They will talk you through what SlideTap is and what it can do for you to help you with uploading the data. The chat is open for questions, and we will take questions also after the presentation is done. So we will save some time there. I think with that, don't know who's starting. I see Erik, you
I'm starting.
unmuted. Joel.
Yep.
Yes, please.
Yeah, thank
Go
you
ahead.
for that introduction, Rick. So my name is Joel Pettersson, and I work as a system developer at Region Östergötland. I oversee the architectural design of our data pipeline, ensuring efficient data management and flow within our organization. Also presenting in this webinar is Erik Gabrielsson, and he works as a research engineer at Sectra. And Erik has played a pivotal role in the Bigpicture project, and among many of his contributions to the Bigpicture project, he is also the author behind the SlideTap project. We also have with us today Mohsen Farsi. Mohsen is an AI scientist in digital pathology at the NHS Trust. Mohsen will demonstrate the Leeds implementation of SlideTap. So this is a rough outline of what this webinar will be. First, we will talk about the motivation behind SlideTap, how it came to be. And then we will go into the architecture of the application, some technical details. Then we will have some use cases, both from Region Östergötland and Leeds, and we will finish off with a demo. And after the demo, we will have some time for Q&A, so please come forward with your questions. And our goals for this webinar is that you as an audience will gain a comprehensive overview of SlideTap. And in the first segment of it, of this webinar, we'll delve into the nuances of data extraction and examining the diverse complexities organization often encounter when trying to extract data, from dealing with diverse data sources to managing inconsistencies in data formats. And by gaining a comprehensive understanding of these complexities, we hope that our listeners will be better equipped to address them effectively and optimize your data extraction workflows. And we will also explore SlideTap, which is a powerful tool designed to streamline data extraction tasks. And in this webinar, we will also learn how to leverage SlideTap's intuitive interface and advanced features to extract data with ease. Furthermore, we will discover best practices for deploying SlideTap and optimizing data extraction processes. And from setting up efficient workflows to implementing quality assurance measures, we'll explore the strategies that ensure success in SlideTap deployment. And we hope that you will gain valuable insights and learn how to leverage SlideTap to achieve your data extraction goals. So, data extraction obviously plays a huge part in Bigpicture, and we believe, and especially Erik, who is the main author behind the tool, believe that SlideTap's efficient data extraction methods can and will simplify the process of gathering technical and biological information associated with each image. And by incorporating SlideTap into your workflow, you're not only enhancing the efficiency of the data extraction task, but also facilitating greater collaboration and innovation in pathology research as a whole. And Erik,
this one should have been skipped, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, let's move. It's hidden. Why is it shown? Okay, let's continue. So SlideTap aims to be a tool that can semi-automate dataset preparation from any image and metadata source. And we developed this to help with the challenges associated with collecting the large amount of pathology images and associated metadata. And part of the motivations for this is that when we're creating research data sets, we have several steps and tasks, and this will typically be tasks either best performed by pathologists or performed by engineers that are color-coded in that the purple tasks are best done by pathologists and the blue tasks are best performed by engineers. So first we have a selection. We need to do a selection of what to export. And here we need the knowledge of underlying research questions and so on, so that pathologist tasks. Next, we need to extract images and metadata matching this selection. And this is a task for engineers. And after we've extracted the data, we also need to process it. This is also some kind of engineering tasks. Once we have processed the data, we can also start curating the data and check if it adheres to all the metadata standards or if there are any errors or irregularities in the data. And this is then again a task that pathologists would presumably perform. And finally, we need to package and submit the data, which is again an engineering task. So the solution to enabling users to do these different tasks efficiently is first to have a graphical user interface for selection and curation steps. So those that are not that well in engineering can do this task efficiently, but then have program interface for example, PACS and laboratory information system extraction and processing steps, so that we can automate these steps. And SlideTap achieves this by having a modular architecture. So following the dataset creation pipeline, we start with the systems that have the original data. And for this, we have two import modules, one for metadata and one for images that are designed to extract the data. And these importers, they extract the data into the application database format. And when it resides in the application, we have a front end which shows the data and where you can edit and change things. And any changes that you do, they are saved back to the database. And when the curation is complete, we have two different exporters, one that exports the metadata and one that exports images into the desired output format. In Bigpicture, we have quite well-defined specification on how the data should look like, both in terms of metadata and images. And for this reason, we have a special Bigpicture version of SlideTap, where parts of the metadata import and image import are implemented so that it's easier to import images into the Bigpicture metadata format. And similarly, the metadata export and image export can be fully implemented, meaning that with this version, once you have imported your data and curated it, there's just one simple pipeline to convert it finally into the Bigpicture data set that you can submit. So when you're going to use SlideTap, you have to then use the Bigpicture SlideTap and implement the last parts of the importers for your specific site. So that will mean having something that can convert from your metadata source into the Bigpicture format, and also something that finds the images that needs to be imported. And SlideTap is an open source project, so you are more than welcome to help and contribute. And the application is written in Python using Flask and SQL Alchemy. And the front end is in React, and the deployment is done with Unicorn, Nginx, and Docker. So if you know anything about these and you want to help, you are more than welcome to contact me or someone else that is contributing here today. And that's the first part of the webinar, where we have some key takeaways. So SlideTap is an application for pathologists, researchers, and engineers. It has a Bigpicture common pipeline that can be used. And additional to that, you have to do some site-specific import integrations. And it's open source, and the contributions are more than welcome. The next step of the presentation will go into some example implementation, one from Region Östergötland, and the other one from Leeds Technical Teaching Hospitals. So then we go over to Joel.
Thank you, Erik. I started my current position in Region Östergötland in September 2021, I think it was. And Anna, who is in the audience right now, told us, okay, we need to extract data. Well, how hard can it be? And what data do we want to extract? It turns out it can be really hard. Since Region Östergötland has a fairly modern PACS by Sectra PACS, that was not an issue because we had an image analysis API. We had a very modern interface against the PACS, so that was kind of easy to extract the images. But what I did not realize was that we had an old, outdated I think LIS system that was really hard to extract data from, and especially meaningful data. So in the initial stages, we had to map every value in the LIS system to the corresponding value in the database. So this is an actual image that you see right now from when Erik and me back in September 2021 sat and we traced every transaction sent from the database. When I was clicking on buttons in the system, we traced every transaction and had to map sort of every table to every value, and that was a very tedious and cumbersome process. And this is how our data extraction workflow looks like today. We have SlideTap implemented in our clinical environment, so we can extract slides from the PACS and also extract the metadata from our LIS system. And when we have the information that we want to extract, the pathologist, Anna in the audience here, choose, for instance, if it's a melanoma data set we would like to extract, then we run an SQL query against our LIS system, and then we get the case information that we then feed to SlideTap. And once we have given it to SlideTap, everything runs in SlideTap, from the curation to the parsing of the metadata and converting of the BSIs to DICOM and so forth. And this is a screencast of how it looks when I create a project in SlideTap. So this is a place where I can choose what kind of information about the data set I want to have. Should we have different metadata standard, we can set that here in this column, and we could choose if it's indirect access only, and we can choose what version.
Joel,
yes,
I'm not seeing what you're pointing at now.
Okay. So do you see anything at all?
I see the video with the play button.
Okay, that's strange. Do we have some technical difficulties?
I don't know. I just
Strangely enough, I was able to press the play button on my end.
Oh.
Wow.
So now
I think what you need to do is click on the PowerPoint at the top, and that's what I did. And I think you are Spotlight, Joel. We need to convert PowerPoint to Spotlight. That's why we are not able to see.
Okay. Well, yeah.
So I clicked on my end, and I'm able to see it on my screen after I clicked.
Oh, that's great. So maybe we can ask
indeed.
our audience to click the video and to watch the screencast yourself then. this is when I create a new project in SlideTap, and wow, now you can view it yourself. So I guess it's the same with the next slide as well then, and with Mawson's. But in the next screen recording, you can observe me feeding a spreadsheet to SlideTap, and this spreadsheet is taken by SlideTap and then subsequently parses the information, the data, metadata, and the images from the packs. Yeah, and this is also a screen recording. So I'll skip through my screen recordings then.
So in the bottom of my screen, there was a little red button that says sync to presenter. If I click
Right.
that, then I believe I'm seeing what you're seeing on your
Exactly.
end.
Okay. Yeah. 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 So yeah, we can look at the images instead then, I guess. So in SlideTap, I have the possibility to curate my data and to change and edit my data. And in the observation tab of SlideTap, sometimes some observational data can be of special interest. For instance, if we would like to know what kind of excision type or what kind of tumor and the tumor size and so on, we can add or edit or delete that information for that matter under the observation tab. Wow, that was fast. So I give it over to you, Mawson.
Thank you, Joel. So here I'm going to talk about how we use a SlideTap at Leads to extract our data set. So in our clinical environments, we have SecraPax and Copas as our LIMS system to manage the data. And then we extract and de-identify slides from the clinical environment and export them into our research environments that are managed on Halo API servers. On this environment, pathologists can review the slides, annotate them, and make the diagnosis or curate the data set. And then we export the metadata in terms of spreadsheets, Excel spreadsheets, and the slides in various proprietary format that comes from the scanners. And here SlideTap helps us to export these metadata into XML format compatible with the MSM-DAT notation that is required for the Bigpicture data sets, and also convert all whole slide images into the DICOM format. The SlideTap package all data for us. At the output, we have a structured directories that can be uploaded easily to the Bigpicture S3 bucket. So similar to Joel, I have first you open your project, you give it, I just changed the name of the project, but there are other parameters that you can set here. And then if you scroll down, you need to update that features that you have for your data set. And then you move to loading your Excel sheet that you have for your metadata. So once you import your metadata, the software automatically parse them into different tables that are required for the Bigpicture. So once you have that, I assume you are watching the GIF images. Once we have that, we just need to identify where the images are. So we provide that address to the image in the same Excel spreadsheet, and then we just load the thumbnail images, and we can explore how the images are. And then once completed, we can convert all these images into the DICOM format. So here it just shows the status of the conversion for these 10 test slides. I stopped a few times here during the conversion, but it's fairly quick that when the things gets green. And then once you have that, you can also select or deselect slides as a final step to curate the things. And once everything, you are happy with everything, you can just submit the data. I just show you how the things looks like on the machine. So all the information will be packaged into some folder directories, one with the DICOM images, the other one with the XML format for the metadata, and then some thumbnail images. So just to summarize these key features is that SlideTap accommodate our in-house data preparation if you have, and then it can take your metadata in forms of Excel spreadsheets that are easier for pathologists to work with. And it also accommodates various slide formats. In leads, we tested for SVS, MRXS, NDPI, and BIF, and they all successfully converted to DICOM format. And just as a key summary, we could say this SlideTap simplifies data extraction. We see for the UL case, it can also be installed on the clinical packs, but it can also be used in a different scenario. For example, in this, we want to have it in our research packs, so it can be site specific and adapt to the requirement per each site. With that, I want to thank the audience for being here and your attention to this presentation, and I would like to open the floor for any questions from us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mohsen and Joel and Eric as well. So please, if there's any questions or things that people maybe that want to use SlideTap, have questions about, right? How to implement it in your local system, for example, please feel free. Who can I? Yes.
So we have a question from Joel.
Yes.
A very boring trivial question, but is this presentation available on SharePoint or something like that? Because some of the screencasts were invisible to me, sadly, and I would like to see them.
They
Yes.
are on the SharePoint.
Yeah, I will collect everything as well.
And we have from Nicholas.
Yeah, so we have our version also now, at least in a test environment running. I asked you also, Joel, but maybe it's a better question I can like attend, like, you know, to everybody, just so I can see a little what the best practice is. So for the age, we're using like a range, like of ages, right? So we don't use the exact age. And I saw that you were using like 5-year intervals. I was wondering what the rest are using or what they're thinking of using, like how to report age more accurately without having to report the actual age in the system. Mohsen, do you know like what do you guys are using?
I think at least we are also use the 5 years age intervals.
5-year
So
intervals.
we are not reporting the exact ages.
And are you doing like everything above like 18? So kids and then adults, everything above is like 5 years.
Yes, I think at the moment most cases are adult.
Yeah.
In my data set, but yes, that's the 5 years age. Yeah.
Yeah, and also I would like a comment maybe by Anna. how, because you're the main architect behind the data set creation from Region Östergötland's side, can you tell us a little about how the discussions went regarding the age and the age span?
Yeah, there were many terms on age span because we are obliged to have the data set as anonymous. So we have a quite intriguing anonymous strategy to adapt to. So we together with CMIV, Leo part, we have calculated on the data collection. So the proportions are no less than 10 cases per interval. So with that, we needed to adjust the age span so it fitted as many cases to be extracted as possible. So I know in the we have had a survey within the task force metadata on age span. But this is one of the reasons why we have sort of stepped outside the majority recommendation on age span. Yeah. So we don't have any children, and then we have, I think it is 2 or 3 age groups for the adults. But I see there's a question also from Brandon Gallis, I think. Have you seen that in the chat?
I cannot see any questions at all. Unfortunately, so I hope that, the rest of, now I can see Brandon. Go ahead. Thank you.
Good morning, good afternoon. I am interested in summaries of the data sets that are being uploaded to Bigpicture. You can imagine as an end user, you can filter. I'm sure you guys have tools to filter, to find this patient, that patient, and so on and so forth. But then sometimes you just want to take a whole data set, but also some other characteristics about the data, like how was the annotation, what were the instructions in the annotation, what were the original slide scanning methods before the conversion, what were the dates that the patient was scanned and or patient treated, and those sorts of characteristics. Thinking about building a data set to satisfy a regulator like myself. We often ask for that kind of information, and so I see that there was an answer, that there is a landing page with optional information about the data, which, when I think about the TCIA, the US NCI resources, they go through a lot of characterization up front. And so I'm wondering whether you plan to automate some of that summarizing, and I'm sure there's a need for a little bit more curation of that summary, so that the data set is ready to be shared with the end users and with anybody who might want to review what happens with that data.
Yeah, so maybe I could take this one. So we have basically 2 ways or 2 levels of looking at the different data sets. So one is completely public, which is the landing pages, and it's up to the contributor of the data to decide what data they want to expose there, also for GDPR reasons, but also in some cases for IP reasons. And the second step is after you request actually access to that data set and it's approved by the data access committee that is appointed for that data set, you will be able to see more detailed data. And there are certain data that are mandatory. I don't know exactly the details which data are then mandatory, but yeah, we build in these 2 levels of access basically. Yeah.
Okay, because that's what I was looking for. I even put a question to the GitHub or whatever repository that was managing this for templates of the data set summaries. because that's pretty important to us, and especially as we're gearing up to maybe mimic some of what you're doing and borrow from your methods. So definitely my radar is up
I'll jump
this.
in here and be terribly rude, if you don't mind. There's also another type of way to produce metrics that will be used in the project, and the only reason it's not used yet is that we haven't agreed on how data can be used. The data sharing agreement is not signed. So until it is, then nobody is allowed to do anything, right? Unless you have point-to-point agreements that you can do specifically this to this data. But when that's signed, we will for sure be able to look through the database and summarize statistics for how many images per data set, or how many data sets and how many H&E stains and whatnot. Everything that's in the metadata in the MSM DAD, we will be able to process and produce statistics for in KPIs and other metrics. What metrics should be produced? Well, talk to Work Package 3. Work Package 3 decides what metrics are produced. If you are not in Work Package 3, maybe in Work Package 4, maybe you would like a certain metrics to be produced, well, ask Work Package 3 to prove it, and we will implement it in Work Package 2.
All right, so whenever you guys have some templates for some of these use cases, I'm waiting to see them get shared to see how well they satisfy some of the requirements we look for. And I'll be happy to feedback anything on that sort of stuff.
Yeah. Meanwhile, do you have an already established specification of the requirements from your side? I could be interested to see that. It would be good to have as a comparison. Yeah.
I will admit we're working on that right now. You know, we review a lot of these kind of things at the FDA.
Yeah.
But we've always treated them as kind of one-offs to the sponsor and the team as we're doing the reviewing. But I think we're starting some research to turn the reviews into data so that we can really identify. So it's not just about conveying a message, it is about what is the data that we're asking for across all of the reviews. And so you can imagine every reviewer kind of approaches things differently. We try and be on the same page, but I think we're embarking on some research to really look at what we've done and look at what we've said and look at what we've asked for, and to turn those into basically fields for people to enter rather than every submission we get is different.
Yeah, I see.
Okay. There are other questions for the speakers.
How generalizable is that reaching it, you know, the chart review part? That is, you know, I've done some data collection myself, and the chart review, I've done it two ways. One that has a little bit of informatics behind it and they're filtering and searching, and the other one was total manual. They took about the same time. I don't know if they cost the same amount, but you know, any method that would kind of blend those two to make better chart reviews and faster chart reviews, I'm interested in. Are those things that you've started to create, moving to be generalizable across systems? Or is it all manual, look at every mouse click that someone's doing and track it back to the data point, and like what Joel was describing? I think it was Joel.
So I think the lead developer will have to answer this one. Erik, do you have any good answer?
No, for extraction, I think it's very much dependent on what we're extracting from, how easy it is to generalize it.
So it's going to be use case. Every use case is going to kind of take a different development effort.
Yes, but we also have some advance or oversay to say, for example, we know that some users will not have any kind of possibility to make an automatic extraction, but they can maybe do something where they format it in some other way, either manually or with some kind of automation. Now I'd say that they wouldn't do automation. So for those, we try to make some kind of format that they can use as input that is generic. But no, I don't think there will be something that works for everyone directly.
Even just the ingredients on how to do it, so that I'm sure that now you have experience with one. If you had to replicate that, there'd be some lessons learned there to speed it up, to put the information right in front so that the mouse clicks can copy paste as efficiently as possible, and some fields get pre-filled and things like that. I'm sure you need that for all the data you guys are going to take in.
Yeah, if we say the first implementation we did against Region Östergötland, that took a lot of time, and it still has some problems with it. But then when we looked at extracting data from leads, where they already had the pipeline that Måsen presented a little bit, integrating that existing pipeline to SlideTap, that took like a day. So it very much differs on complexity.
Thank you.
So maybe also Nicholas can share his experience from Utrecht.
Yeah, good question. So for us, SlideTap, well, I mean, it took a little bit more than a day, but our data, that's the thing, we're a little bit more complex. So we have it now like running, as I mentioned, on the test environment. The first version that we tried to implement, that was basically a set of scripts that would take your data and convert it. That took longer, and that also broke faster. So when we tried to do the second set, when we tried to upload it, that didn't work. So now, at least with SlideTap, it seems to be a bit better now, and also it solves some of the problems we had before. But we haven't uploaded a dataset yet with SlideTap, so I hope that's going to be done quite soon, actually.
Okay. Thanks. Anna, I did see you had a comment or question before. Or...
Yeah, it was more like a question in regard of the Excel that have now been deployed in Leads, whether it can be used as a template and accessible for other data future submitters. So it is easy to sort of start to understand how to submit data if you don't have the resources to do the automation pathway. And for some data sets, maybe for rare diseases, this could be an easier way. So is the Excel good enough to be used as a template? No, I see no. It's just from a pathologist naive perspective.
I think the spreadsheet that we have is a kind of added to the MSM that Excel sheet that they produced. So we try to borrow those fields that we required for our working leads, and then the rest of the things was automatically filled, I think, with a SlideTap. So we provided those information for those fields that we need for our work, and then the rest was filled out with this SlideTap for to comply with that MSM that format. But I think that format is a bit comprehensive and maybe complex, more than what maybe each site required, but it's just wanted to be, I think, comprehensive. So I would say start with that one and try to fill out the information that you need at your at your side, and then the rest might hopefully can be handled with the SlideTap version for your side. I don't know if it addressed the question or not, but feel free to comment otherwise.
Partly, yeah. I just remember an initial vision we had that it could be easy to submit data, just like drag and drop an Excel from a data submitter once it has been approved. And I still would like to keep that vision somewhere. But I hear we're not there yet.
I think that part is, I don't know about other side, but it's not just the slide that we want to upload. Sometimes we want to curate we don't want to put the pathology reports in the free text format. We want to go through those reports and make curation. So I think at least in Leeds, we have a screening by pathologist over the slides. I don't know in how it goes in other sites, but all the slides are reviewed by pathologists in Leeds before submission.
Yeah, and I think the quality process should be in that way. We will not review 100% all of them because we are stepwise learning how good the quality is. So we're down to a small percentage of the quality. But that's not. I was just in the simple way of how to submit data once you have the curated metadata. So I sort of envision we have, for some, we still do the simple way of extracting data. You read and you transcribe it into some kind of file format, usually in Excel, I think. And then you have the whole slide images, and then you would just drag and drop. But I see there's a lot of hands now up in there, so please.
I see, Brennan, you have another question. Oh.
Yeah, I was just going to say I really appreciated seeing Joel's slide that showed the library information system, but then also showed underneath the hood there's commands, APIs, sending messages right back and forth with every button click, essentially. Am I understanding that slide well? Is that really what's happening? And basically, that's how the automation can be built, is by tracking the mouse clicks of a manual chart review to see what fields they're going for every patient. And then you kind of pull all those after you do like maybe a set of them, maybe 10 or 20 patients, you see all the different fields and mouse clicks that were done. And then you turn that into an automated thing that pulls all that raw data. And then, that kind of tool, or at least that sort of instructions for the different platforms, Epic and Beaker, that's not my specialty, but if there was some instructions on kind of turning us into the robot process up front, and then creating the automation process. I see Joel nodding his head that I'm on the right track with this.
Yeah, I see what you're getting at. So what we were doing we were using something that it's a tool called SQL Server Profiler. And so this tool enables you to view every transaction in the database. So we could map every value in the database to corresponding value in the LIS system. So this could be done for any system with any kind of database, if you have MySQL or SQL Server or whatever. So that would be it would be the same process everywhere basically. So it's a good tool to use when you have problems and situations as we had. And to us, we hadn't. It would be hard for us to do anything if we hadn't done that process and from the beginning. But I could send you an email on a little more specifics on how we did it, if you want to, afterwards.
Yeah, I think that would be helpful. Thank you. And it was
Yeah.
SQL Profiler, or was there another word?
SQL Server Profiler is
Server
the tool.
Profiler.
Yeah.
See, Nicholas.
Yeah, the leads implementation for SlideTap. So basically, I don't know if this was adequately explained, but basically, what Eric developed is the SlideTap application, and then after that, every site needs their own kind of like SlideTap metadata, let's say converter or importer. So then there's a couple components in order to make SlideTap work. So what we did as a site, we just used the one from Leads actually, because this was the most, let's say, generic and most straightforward to implement. And that implementation can actually be very easily, let's say, changed to a more generic version. So, for example, I think what Anna mentioned about like importing like a Excel sheet might be a good might be an interesting idea to have like some sort of like generic SlideTap repository. Usually these Excel sheets are just one line with one slide. So if you had like some sort of like implementation that can parse that line into a big picture metadata, that might already be a huge help for a lot of smaller data sets, a lot of smaller research data sets, which kind of rely on that format, like the one slide, one line format, where every column is maybe an extension number, a specimen, a staining, and maybe some diagnosis or some observation. And I think that can be very, very kind of easily, let's say, converted from the Leads implementation, which is already kind of straightforward.
Joel?
So Nicholas made most of my point.
Okay.
So say what you will about the Excel, but it is an excellent interoperability format and visualizer, I suppose. So I guess most people with some computer skill can produce an Excel sheet either programmatically or manually, and then somebody without skills completely can look inside the sheet and see that it makes sense. And my question for the presenters here is how far are we away from Anna's vision of just drag dropping an Excel sheet into SlideTap and then having a finished data set pop out?
If it's like the sheet that Mosen used, then it's easy.
Yeah, that's what I
But
thought.
the question is then if that format is something that is generic enough, or
So the format from Mosen is not very generic in the sense that it has multiple tabs, and then every tab is like specimen or block or whatever, and then there should be a column which is where does that specimen belong to, or where does a block belong to, and that's like usually how you gather that information in Excel sheets. So I think like, and I have a lot of examples of these kind of Excel sheets where it's like one line with multiple columns. So we might be able to. Once we have our own version up and running, maybe we might be able to take a look and see if we can produce something from that kind of type of Excel sheet. So yeah, we might look into that from our side.
Yeah, it would be great. Yeah. Okay. Any more questions? No. Okay. I want to thank a big hand of applause for the presenters, Eric, Joel, and Mosen. Thanks a lot for providing this insight, and I think we had a good discussion also, and some things to follow up on. Thank you all for joining on this Friday afternoon. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and hopefully we see each other soon for the next webinar. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.